This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
With 2 rounds left to go in the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, we find ourselves here on our yearly pilgrimage to Northern Ohio in the Limaland Speedway. Hello everyone, my name is DJ Clark, joined in the booth here by Austin Belke with our director and producer Mike Yao behind the scenes. And well, Austin, this is a track that we are very familiar with here, but what secrets does it hold?
Hey DJ, happy to be here. Oh, first off, you mentioned it, we're at Limaland, Northern Ohio. Place is practically outside in my backyard. The secrets of this track, you gotta learn to go where people aren't. So you gotta learn to run on the high side, you gotta learn to run on the low side. Both of those going to be extremely crucial. If you want to run on the low side, you have to be wary of those tires down there. The white ones just barely poking up out of the ground. And if you want to run up top, you have to be very wary of that outside wall, especially coming off turn 4. There's a place where you can enter and exit the track. If you get too high, too fast out of turn 4, you're going to slap the wall.
Yes, you are, so you got to be very careful about that. And the format that we're going to be running here tonight is going to be your standard issue dirt racing format. That's right, we are going to have 4 laps of solo qualifying, and that will determine the order for our heat races. It'll be a 6-lap heat race with 2 automatically advancing to the A main. Everyone else will go back to the C and B mains respectively there. Those races will be 8 laps, and we will take the top 8, I believe, from those on. Then we have 18 racers there in the A main. It'll be 40 laps there. Caution laps do not count. And let's also go ahead and take you over to our championship standings here. To the surprise of nobody, it is Brandon Proudfoot up on top of the order by a pretty beastly 90 or so points. Northcutt there behind him. A close battle with him and Hargraves. Shepard lining it behind, trying to hold on to that 4th place position, although it looks like it's pretty solidified. A close battle there for 5th between Hunter Hill and Jeffrey Harden as we continue to work our way down the field. Plenty of places to be made up for the rest of the order, the rest of these drivers here. And Austin, with plenty of new names seemingly coming into the series every week, it is always fantastic to be able to see one of them going.
It certainly is. It's really interesting to see what drivers can come onto the scene here in the dirt side of BRL and just come out of the gates with a lot of speed. It's very cool to see all these new names pop in here, all the fresh paint schemes. You get some new cars out and around and trying to get different flavors of where people are from and how they race, and it's always neat to see this place chock full of racers. Last week we had to send a whopping 4 people home, not something we oftentimes have to do, especially in the summer months. In the winter, that's a different story, but you can see Billy Northcutt top of the timesheets right now.
Yeah, Northcutt up there, followed by Thomas Vickers with Zachary Loomis, Cody Shaw, and Grady Wade, your top 5 right now. Some of the big hitters that we are used to seeing in the field: J.R. Shepard down in 8th, Chris Davis in 9th, Bobby Hayes in 12th, John Wilson 13th, Joe Segala 15th. We have yet to see William Hargraves make his way out on track. He'll be one to watch out for. And we have yet to see our points leader, William Hargraves, make their way out onto track as well. So, our points leader, Brandon Proudfoot, make his way out onto track, so certainly be waiting for him to come on in.
Yeah, Hargraves and Proudfoot yet to make a lap. That's partially why Northcutt's at the top of the timing sheets, but obviously, those times at the top are basically put in when the track is at its freshest. So that means there's a ton more grip out there. As soon as you get more cars out on track, it starts to get slicker and slicker. That's why the guys are having to go up near towards the wall, like you see Joe Segala trying to do. It gets a little bit sideways, though, is forced to correct the car.
Yeah, he's going to carry a little bit too much momentum, get some over-rotation as we watch Grady Wade, that fifth-place car in the number 11. Grady experimenting down with the low line a little bit here, and that can be an advantageous way to get around this Limaland Speedway. But as you mentioned earlier, Austin, those tires down to the inside, even in these big, heavy street stocks, can really cause the cars to bounce quite a bit and get thrown off.
Yeah, DJ, it's just the same like you'd see anywhere else. If there's a curb at Martinsville to hit, it's obviously going to shoot the car up the track by maybe a foot or two. It's not as deadly as those giant monster tractor-sized tires you see. These are maybe like the size on your street car, maybe like a Toyota Prius, kind of thin little guys, but they still do a lot to upset the feeling of the car. They will whip you around on contact.
Yeah, they certainly will whip you around a little bit as they go, as you've got to be careful of them running down low like that. But plenty of different lines to be had around here as we watch the number 6 there of Dylan Corey. Still one of my favorite ways to number the car, with the spelling out of 6 as he gets his way through. He's trying that low line as well. Segala there behind him looks like he's experimenting a little bit with the middle line. That's something that we're going to be seeing, I think, quite a bit over the course of this race as they continue to run here. Multiple lines starting to play themselves out.
Yep, and that's basically, as the track starts to get more and more worn out, you have to start to adventure to see what different parts of the track are going to feel like as the night goes on. You get out there, you got a fresh track. You can really make the inside work well because the track hasn't slicked up. As it continues to slick up more and more, just like every other Friday night, we're going to see that line get closer and closer to the outside wall. And then once that starts to slick up, then you're going to notice some guys trying to work in that bottom lane once again. That's all that tack stuff you see. That's sticky stuff. If you got marbles out there, it's going to behave just like it would on an asphalt track, or if you can imagine how it would if you tried to drive your street car on marbles. You're not going anywhere in a hurry.
No, you certainly are not. As Bobby Hayes, one of the first drivers that we've seen really starting to flirt with that high line that you mentioned, but that is the problem of running in that high line. Getting up into the wall there, making a little bit of contact. Hayes currently in 15th, as I can tell you that William Hargraves was able to get himself out on track and put himself up into 7th place. Still waiting for Proudfoot to appear into the session as they go. Looks like, though, for Bobby Hayes, that high line's working pretty darn well, as it looks like he's been able to get a little bit of an edge here over John Wilson. We check a look a little further in the field. This is Kevin Nunn also playing around with that high lane.
Yeah, Kevin Nunn is up there just kind of testing the waters, seeing what's out there. You have to get really comfortable in order to run the high line at some of these tracks, and just get your right rear quarter panel almost on that wall. You never want to touch the wall. If you touch it too hard, you might slap it. At some tracks, the car goes up and you do what's called a wall ride. The car basically 90 degrees perpendicular to the road. You don't want to do that.
No, you certainly do not want to do that, as that is not the way to get a quick lap around here. None trying to get those rear tires, though, into the slick stuff. Hook up those bottom tires, those front tires, down on-to the tack as he goes. Looks like it's working out pretty well for him, as there I see Brandon Proudfoot making his way into the session. So that is going to give us a 17-car grid here. So just one shy of bumping, and I think these drivers are going to be pretty hopeful that they stay at only 17, as you don't really want to have to be running with that looming specter of having to get bumped or hanging over your head.
You certainly don't. These guys sign up and they clear their calendars for this event. It's also just sort of demoralizing when you show up and you are the slowest person there, and you're so slow, in fact, you don't even get to race. And what's worse than that is having an extremely fast car and then not making the show because you made a slight mistake, or because you get taken out by someone else's mistake. So yeah, I really feel like these guys are going to be quite happy to leave this session at only 17 drivers. If we do get one more, we're still at 18. Everybody still makes the show, so we can let one more person into the boat before we start to sink and have to throw someone over.
Exactly, and that is one of the best analogies I have heard to be able to get that going, as we've got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left here in practice, and then we will send out the virtual water trucks, reset this track back down to about a 0% state, and then over the course of the next running, we will not see it get reset again. So that is certainly going to be something to watch out for as this track continues to slick itself off. Following John Wilson, though, as he experiments down with the low line, running there with Bobby Hayes. Look like Hayes has got a little bit more momentum running high.
Yeah, these cars are momentum-based. They don't have quite a lot of horsepower, especially compared to like a dirt late model or some of the midgets, some of the wing sprint cars even on the iRacing service. So if you can keep the car up top, you keep more rhythms in these cars. That way, when you go down the straightaway, you got all that momentum built up. It's not like you're on the inside and you have to gain that momentum and speed up off the corner. It also helps you minimize the wheel spin because you're not changing the speed of the wheels as you come off the corner. They're just still up there at about that 7,000 RPM range.
Exactly, and that is the advantage of being able to run up high. Exactly, as you said, I couldn't have put it better myself. As the checkered flag now flies for practice, and it's time to put the cards on the table. It's time to go qualifying. And again, this will set the running order for our heat races here. The top two from those heat races automatically advance. And Austin, you want to be starting up in the top two of those heat races if you can, because that means that, well, you got less cars to pass.
Yeah, certainly. If you're in those top two spots, you don't have to pass anyone to automatically advance yourself into the feature, and you can sit a whole lot prettier than you normally would because you're already basically locked into what is a top 6 starting spot right off the bat. We're 24 seconds into qualifying, and you can see we've got a couple cars out there right now. And DJ, let's talk about those colorful rectangles on the bottom of the screen.
Right, that is going to indicate the fast sector times. If you see a green there pop up, that is going to mean that it is a personal best sector. If you see purple, like we see there for Dylan Corey, that means the fastest of anyone out on the track. Corey is going to be the one to jump up to that top position there, followed immediately by Cody Shaw up to the top. John Wilson's going to slot himself up into second place. Corey looks like he's on another good lap here, so maybe watch for that time to get a little bit better. Kevin Nunn's going to slot himself into fourth. Now that's going to be taken away by Grady Wade. Chris Davis in the number 7 goes up to P1.
Yeah, how about that lap time from Chris Davis of 15:275? You're going to see yellow rectangles on the bottom of your screen as well. That means a driver's non-personal best time. So it could be anywhere between a tenth to a whole second off their best sector time. Obviously, Sector 1 is turns 1 and 2. Sector 2 is turns 3 and 4. You see Jeffrey Harden jump up to the top of the timing sheets.
Yep, that is going to be the number 36 right there. Zachary Loomis, Grady Wade, Chris Davis, and Butch Baker up in your top 5, although I do believe that Butch Baker has an EOL for the feature tonight. As we watch, though, this is Bobby Hayes working through that middle lane right now. Here is the 64, trying to see what he is able to get. That's Kevin Nunn as he goes. Now waiting to see here, still waiting for Shepard, Vickers, Northcutt, Hargraves, and Proudfoot to be able to set a time here early as they run. Some personal best being set down for Vickers. Let's see where that's going to put him. It's going to be good enough for P5, as now Northcutt goes fastest of all of anybody, and up to the top of the charts goes the 00.
Yeah, 4/100ths of a second clear of Jeffrey Harden's fastest time. We're going to see William Hargraves cross the stripe this time by. He had 2 purple sectors. He's going to shoot up to provisional pole. J.R. Shepard goes up to 4th on the board.
We still haven't seen, of course, as soon as I start to say that, Proudfoot does make his way out onto track. We haven't seen him actually get out onto track quite yet, so we'll have to see what the driver of the number 22 is going to be able to do here. He's going to start things up high, hook the car down low, and then try to get going around here, around this Northern Ohio track that is actually co-owned by the University of Northern Ohio. Looks like Proudfoot getting a little bit crosswayed there. He's going to have to re-rack and try this again on the next lap.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened going through turns 3 and 4 that time. It looked like he got a little bit of a tank slapper, was fortunate enough to save the car before he went onto the front stretch or down to the infield and hit one of them tractor tires. And then it seemed like he did the same thing in turns 3 and 4. I don't know if he's trying to make the bottom work or if his car feels really weird. He joined the session pretty late, and he never got a single practice lap in, so maybe he's dealing with some sort of equipment gremlin or something.
Yeah, that's going to be a time that puts him all the way down on the charts, about 1.2 seconds behind everybody else. So not sure what's going on there for Brandon Proudfoot as he parks it into pit lane, but he's still got about a minute and a half left to go here. We ride on board with Vickers right now. I believe his 4 laps are just about up, but he is able to keep on going and keep practicing as long as he can.
Yeah, it was always a huge opportunity to come out here because in the regular practice, unless of course you're like the 13th or the 17th person to join or something, you're not going to have an entire practice session or whatever to yourself. Basically, how iRacing does it is while the cars are out there practicing before we have qualifying, they're set up into different little rooms, we'll call it. You got 6 cars to a room, maybe 8 or so. So if you're the odd man out, maybe there's only 1 or 2 of you in there, you practically have the track all to yourself. So right now in qualifying, if you didn't have that opportunity, this is the only time you'll ever have the track to yourself. You get to go out there and see what works. You see William Hargraves put down a purple sector in sector 1 and 2.
Yeah, looks like he could be on it, but not quick there through the final sector, but still he's going to be able to hold on to that top position. I can tell you that Proudfoot is back out on track yet again, so he's going to try to re-rack and go here for him. As we watch a few more drivers, Proudfoot setting a personal best there in the first sector, as we'll have to see what his second sector is as he's going to cross over the line there. Proudfoot looks like he is properly on it, but he's going to be about 0.5 of a second off, and he's going to park it there at the checkered flag. That is Proudfoot starting stone dead last on the field.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how well Proudfoot recovers through this, but DJ, we're ready for the heat number 1 starting order.
Yes, we are, and lining up in pole position, it is going to be William Hargraves there, followed by Jeffrey Harden. Chris Davis and John Wilson will line up behind them with Cody Shaw and Jason Dill making up your 6-car grid here for heat race number 1. And as we said, this will be a 6-lap heat race and no cautions thrown.
No cautions are thrown. The top 2 drivers automatically advance to our 40-lap 18-car feature. It's a lot easier to just go ahead and punch your ticket to that event right off the bat instead of having to worry about maybe having a bad race or some bad luck in the last chance qualifier. Right now, it's William Hargraves and Jeffrey Harden. Those 2 drivers would advance. So see what lane Hargraves is going to choose here. Looks like he's going to stay to the inside. I think he ought to.
Yeah, I think he should as well, especially on a relatively green track. You probably want him to be starting at least a little bit low. Just get that quicker line, the faster point from A to B coming down through turns 3 and 4. And that's a good point you bring up there, is that leader will have lane choice over the course of the run anytime we get restarted here. So they bring themselves around 2 by 2 here. Control of the field will go to William Hargraves in just a few seconds as the iRacing pace truck will scamper on down into pit lane in just a brief amount of time. Indeed, there it goes. Hargraves backs up the field a little bit. We ride on board with Jeffrey Harden as there goes Hargraves onto the loud pedal, and we are away. Good start for Hargraves. Even better start in the back there for Chris Davis, who's able to move himself up ahead of the loose lugs driver there of Jeffrey Harden. Harden finds himself back down in 3rd place and under attack from Cody Shaw.
Oh man, look at, they're making contact, dooring each other as they go through turns 3 and 4 that time by. And William Hargraves is just loving this. He is pulling away.
Yes, he is, and Chris Davis enjoying that as well, as he's able to get a little bit of breathing room there as they work their way around, starting on lap 3 in this first heat race. It continues to be Cody Shaw looking down to the inside. We look out the back there of Jeffrey Harden. Shaw trying to get that advantage down on the inside, not quite able to get it, but able to get a little bit of crossover.
Every time he gets to the inside of Jeffrey Harden, Jeffrey just seems to outdrive him into the corner. I feel like when Cody Shaw gets down in there, he gets alongside him, but he has to back out of it just to make sure that he doesn't door Jeffrey Harden.
Yeah, we already saw a little bit of that bumping and banging earlier on in this race. Drivers looking like they're keen to avoid it as they cross over the start-finish line now with 2 laps left to go. Shaw still trying to find that little bit of an opportunity. John Wilson may be getting interested there in the background as well.
Yeah, John Wilson, he's just kind of sitting in the weeds right now. He's going to follow anyone he wants to, but DJ, the white flag's out.
Yes, it is. The white flag is out around this quarter of a mile dirt oval as it looks to be William Hargraves running up on the high line. He is going to bring the number 71 out of the final corner, cross over the finish line, and take victory here in race 1. Chris Davis will follow him home in the automatic transfer positions. A good move there from Chris Davis at the start of the race. bringing him into that position. Harden going to come home in P3, followed by Cody Shaw and John Wilson. Jason Dill looked like he had a little bit of an issue farther back in the field. Now we're ready for heat race number 2, where it's going to be Billy Northcutt lining up in pole position, Zachary Loomis to his outside. Thomas Vickers and Dylan Corey will line up behind them, with Bobby Hayes and Brandon Proudfoot surprisingly starting in P6, although I have been told that it looked like he had a little bit of a technical issue in that session, kind of as you suspected there, Austin, and so that is what the points leader is doing at the far back of the grid.
Yeah, he has to come here and get all the points possibly can. These drivers are going to score points in qualifying, the heat races, the last chance qualifiers, and the main event. So Brandon does have a pretty good point lead. I don't think he's going to pad that tonight, but he's certainly out here trying to minimize damage, and that's what all the best champions will do throughout the season. Even if this were race 2, Brandon Proudfoot will be doing the exact same thing.
Exactly, and it's going to be interesting to see just how much he is able to gain. We have seen the champion be able to move through traffic as well as hold on to a lead, so it's always a delight to see him have to kind of fight his way back up through the field. But right now, that is not going to be on the front of mind here for Billy Northcutt. His eyes are going to be focused on the start-finish line, waiting to get onto the loud pedal here as he holds the field for a long time before finally getting on it and getting going. It's a pretty even breakaway there for the rest of the field. Northcutt looking like he's got a little bit of a lead. Proudfoot didn't get the best jump off the back of the field, potentially maybe just feeling out that car a little bit, seeing if those technical issues have resolved themselves.
Yeah, but watch Vickers here. He had the inside on that initial start. He's right now to the inside of Loomis. He's trying to prevent Zach from getting all the way down the track. The bottom is still where you want to be, but you can just see right along with Dylan Corey, on the bottom of the track. You have to put a lot more wheel into that car, so you get a lot more slideways coming up off the corner. And unfortunately for Thomas Vickers, he is going to allow Zach Loomis to get by.
Yeah, Loomis is going to be able to firmly hold on to that number 2 position. Proudfoot, meanwhile, running the high line here, has worked his way up into P5. We continue to ride on board with Dylan Corey. Little bit of how you doing there between Corey and Vickers as they dove into turn 1. The number 6 car looking pretty aggressive here at the halfway point.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see which one of these drivers wins in this battle. You saw that Vickers was on the inside. He lost out to Zach Loomis, so it's going to be really surprised there if Dylan Corey was going to be able to get by Vickers on the inside. I feel like the track is getting pretty slick down there on the absolute bottom. You see these guys, see that light brown stuff, you call that the tack. It keeps getting higher and higher last lap, though.
White flag in the air here for these drivers as Northcutt continues to lead over Zachary Loomis. Waiting to see if the rest of this field is going to be able to shake itself out. Proudfoot riding on that middle to high lane right now as they cross over the start-finish line. It is Billy Northcutt taking victory over Zachary Loomis there. Those two automatically transferring. Proudfoot only able to move up 1 position. The rest of that finishing order, by the way, was Thomas Vicker and Dylan Corey, then Brandon Proudfoot and Bobby Hayes rounding out your 6-car field. And just as quick as you please, that is going to bring us to our final heat race for the night, and this will have J.R. Shepard for Different Path Motorsports lining up in pole position. Grady Wade lines up in P2, followed by Butch Baker and Joe Segala, and Kevin Nunn riding shotgun on the field.
Really surprising to see Brandon Proudfoot only able to gain 1 position in his heat. But how about this qualifying effort from the Different Path Motorsports driver J.R. Shepard? Once again proving when you have to run down on the bottom, he is one of the best at it.
Yeah, certainly is. He is a little bit of a self-professed bottom feeder, loves to run down on that low line, and it will be interesting to keep an eye on that number 98 as the race goes along to see if he's able to keep running down there when it slicks up a little bit, and if he's got to move up the track, what that's going to do to his position.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Usually JR is one of the drivers that does well in the races in the beginning because you can run down low. In the middle parts, he falls back in terms of speed because the top line is where you want to be. And then once it slicks off, he's really fast again on the bottom. But the pace truck is down pit road, DJ.
Yes, it is, and Shepard gets on the loud pedal there, bringing the field to green. It's going to be a side-by-side run there between Butch Baker and Joe Segala, back down for 3rd place, but J.R. Shepard leads by about 2 car lengths as they come out of turn 2 for the first time. Grady Wade trying to see what he is able to do there, as now it's Butch Baker fully clear of Joe Segala, trying to take a little bit of a look there on the number 11.
Yeah, really good start there from Grady Wade. He continues to be the highest driver on the track out of all these, not just position-wise, but real estate-wise as well. You can see he's got that right rear tire just barely on the edge of the tack.
Yeah, just barely on the edge of the tack, pushing that cushion a little bit as they concertina there down into turn 2 for the third time, working their way around. Shepard continuing to lead from Wade, from Baker, Segala, and Nunn. Single file here as they cross over the start-finish line to get the halfway mark.
Yeah, you can see these guys would be racy if they could get close to one another, but right now they all just kind of spread themselves apart, and then they're running basically the exact same lap time. You see J.R. Shepard and Grady Wade just pulling away just a little bit. I think if anything, Wade might be barely catching up to Shepard. It's really hard to tell, though.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It looks like he ran about a tenth of a second faster on that last lap than J.R. Shepard as they now work their way through the corner, taking the white flag here, going down into the corner as that is going to be a single file run here, only about a half a lap to go as they continue to work themselves out. And taking victory here in heat race number 3 will be J.R. Shepard, followed by Grady Wade. A great run there from the both of them. Butch Baker, Joe Segala, and Kevin Nunn rounding out the rest of your 5-car grid there. And so that is going to be them automatically advancing on, as that there you can see a J.R. Shepard, Grady Wade automatically advancing. Baker, Segala, and Nunn have to go back to the consolation races, which are in store for us right now. That's right, we are ready for the 8-lap C-Main here tonight. Jeffrey Harden going to be lining up in pole position, followed by Butch Baker with Dylan Corey, John Wilson, and Kevin Nunn lining up behind them.
Yeah, DJ, this is basically kind of a Frankenstein, a mixture, if you will, of the heat number 1 and heat number 2 and heat number 3 drivers that all have to race in these to see the starting order for the feature event. Of course, all these drivers are going to make the field. The only thing they're racing for right now is a better starting position, and the more this track starts to get down to one-lane groove racing, it is paramount to start further up the field so you don't have to pass as many cars.
You're very, very right about that, as Harden will be leading us around here, trying to see if he is going to be able to maybe think about a different lane, but it looks like he's going to be opting to stay down on the low side, trying to figure out what he can do here. Is there they go, 1 to go until we go green, Austin.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by Jeffrey's move here. I still think you want to be in the inside. We're getting closer to using that wall right in line. We're not quite there yet, so I think Jeffrey's still best to keep it on the bottom and maybe just run the middle of the track. But the pace truck's about to go down pit road.
Yes, it is. It scampers off, and Harden gets on the loud pedal very, very early, and that's actually going to help out Butch Baker in the number 97. Going to be able to run a great line there around the outside, but he's going to lose out a little bit as Harden takes the shortest distance from point A to point B, but bumping and banging there as they enter into turn 3.
Yeah, not sure what Jeffrey Harden was doing there. I think he had too much wheel into the car when he put his foot on the throttle, and that time coming out of turn 2. Butch Baker got to his outside. He might not have heard it, but if he heard it or not, he certainly did. Barely, just ever so slightly, put Butch and almost himself into the wall. Very lucky that Butch backed out of the throttle, but now Butch is going to try to challenge him on the outside.
Yeah, he's going to try to get a little bit. We've got some side-by-side there in the back as well between Dylan Corey and John Wilson, but it looks like Wilson's going to lose out, as that is going to be Butch Baker working his way up and around, trying to see if there's anything on Harden as they start on lap 4.
Yeah, Butch Baker continues to stalk him on the outside. The outside line still isn't really there. This track is mostly down to one groove. You can see Butch getting really sideways off the corner. That's going to allow Dylan Corey just to get even closer to him.
Yes, it is. And what can Corey do, or what can Wilson do? Looking pretty strong there, coming out of a little bit of a half-hearted slider there out of turn 2. And now John Wilson going to be pushing his way down to the inside there on Dylan Corey, but going to lose out on the momentum as they cross over here, working on lap 6, trying to see what is able to slot itself out. Jeffrey Harden continues to run up the front of the field by a distance of about 2.5 car lengths as they try to find some more grip here to get by the seemingly dominant 36.
Yeah, if this were a heat race, the race would have been over, but last chance qualifiers have 8 laps that time by. Butch Baker gets really tight in the center of the corner.
Yes, he does, and that opens up the door a little bit here for Dylan Corey. Can Corey maybe be able to send that move White flag in the air for these drivers. Now it's going to be Butch Baker getting a little bit slimy there coming through the corner. John Wilson sees an opening on Dylan Corey. He's going to push that number 75 down to the inside as they come out of the final line there, and that's going to be Harden taking victory over Baker, over Corey, over Wilson, but that was a very, very close run race.
Yeah, Kevin Nunn going to round out your 5-car field. We're now going to get set for the B main here, DJ. Going to be real interesting to see if Thomas Vickers chooses the inside or the outside. I think he should go with the inside. I still think it's the fastest way around here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there on that. As your starting order for this B main, the final LCQ here tonight is going to be Thomas Vickers, followed by Cody Shaw, then Joe Segala, Brandon Proudfoot, Jason Dill, and Bobby Hayes. And I have got to say here, Austin, the story of the night has got to be seeing how far that number 22 is going to be able to work their way up through the field. We only saw Brandon gain one position in that heat race. Can he gain some more here in this LCQ?
DJ, I tell you what, if he wants to start in the top 10 of this race, he's going to have to gain a couple positions here to make sure he solidifies that top 10 spot. He needs to finish like second or third at absolute worst if he wants to start in the top 10. Starting outside of the top 10 on the initial start, he's got 40 green flag laps to do it, but this track is just too hard to pass on once we get into racing conditions, and it's basically going to take a slide job to make any passes.
Well, if anybody can pull off a good old slider, rest assured it is the driver of the 22 of Brandon Proudfoot, one of the most experienced and wily veterans here in the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. But eyes are not fixed on the 22 for once. They're actually fixed here on Thomas Vickers and the number 2, that yellow, purple, and black machine working its way through turn 2 right now, waiting for that iRacing pace truck to scamper off down pit lane and to get us racing here for the B main. Final last chance qualifier on the night. Pace truck is down pit lane, and Vickers gets onto the throttle there. Good start there by Cody Shaw, being able to keep a little bit of momentum there on the high side. Looks like Proudfoot's going to try to follow him through. Maybe some contact there with Segala, and that's Proudfoot into the wall.
Yeah, look at it. Whoa, Segala gets turned around by the 09 car of Jason Dill. Proudfoot's got some major damage on that car. Pounces is off the wall.
Yeah, some big track there, as there is a big hit as they go. Everybody trying to work their way through right now, waiting to see if he's able to go. Proudfoot trying to be able to scrap and get his way back forward, trying to keep on running. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, it's going to be Vickers, Shaw, Dill, and Hayes running in the top 4.
Yeah, Vickers continues to lead. He's got Shaw breathing down his neck. Brandon Proudfoot. This is the replay. You're going to see Proudfoot on the outside. Joe Segala comes up off the bottom. The two make contact, forces Proudfoot into the wall. Major suspension damage for the driver of the 22 car. He got that thing down to the inside just barely and has towed.
Yeah, he has towed, and so that means he is going to be starting virtually at the back of the pack here for the A main event. But meanwhile, we've got a little bit of a battle on our hands up at the front of the field between Vickers and Shaw. This is going to be Cody Shaw running down on that low line in the green and white number 99, trying to see if he's able to get anything here as they work on lap 6.
Yeah, he's looking all over the track to see if he can get any sort of grip that Thomas doesn't know about. He's trying the high side. He's trying the low side. It doesn't look like he's going to gain any ground the last couple laps here. We'll see what he can do in the last few. He's going to shove it into turns 1 and 2 that time, gain a little bit, but he's going to lose it all on corner exit.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like he's able to roll the speed there off of the corner that he would really like to, as there they go, getting the white flag there for Vickers. Shaw running way up on the high side, pushing the cushion as much as he can, as there they go down into turn 3 and 4 and to the start-finish line, and it's going to be Vickers taking victory here in the B main.
Tell you what, DJ, super surprised that Brandon Proudfoot got taken out there. He's going to have to start. I think he's going to roll off 17th on the grid.
Yeah,
he's manually disconnected.
Oh my goodness. Well, we had heard from series organizer Lowell Jewell that there was a little bit of a weird glitch on iRacing, that they were only allowed to be 16 cars into the feature. And I think Proudfoot has fallen afoul of that. Austin, I don't think I've ever said this before. Proudfoot's not in the A main.
The only time I think we wouldn't have said that was last season. He had to miss a race. I think that's the only time ever. So this will be the second time he's ever missed a main feature since this series has been on the Virtual Grip Network. And even before, Brandon pretty much made every single race. He's got 5 minutes, mind you, to come back into this thing, but I'm not sure where I saw that 16 car deal, but boy, if that's the case, he's going to take a huge hit in the points. But as Cale Yarborough always said, what's a good point lead if you don't use it?
Well, exactly, and let's not forget here that it's about 90 points separating him from Hargreaves at the moment. And Hargreaves, let's also not forget, is your reigning champion. Remember, because in large part of that drop round last time out, Hargreaves was able to take victory in the championship over Brandon Proudfoot. Could this be another title clincher? Could this swing things around here for William Hargreaves? He's looked pretty strong thus far, but he is going to have to capitalize in this feature race.
Yeah, he's really going to want to go out there and pounce just to make sure he can get any sort of points possible. He wants to, get as many points here because Brandon Proudfoot is going to gain almost none today. So he wants to really close that gap in. So he's going to have it all to do here in this race and the next one.
Yeah, he certainly is, and it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out and what the strategy for the number 71 will be. Does he play aggressive and try to fight onto the lead as hard as possible, or does he try to maximize points? We only have about 3 minutes left in this warm-up session until we let these street stocks loose and ready to go around here at Limaland for a 40-lap feature event.
See Jeffrey Harden out there on your screen. DJ, this warm-up is so important for these guys to go out there and see what the track feels like. Jeffrey Harden, obviously, we saw him just out there not too long ago in that second-to-last last chance qualifier. But if you're someone like William Hargreaves or Billy Northcutt, you haven't been out on track in so long. These guys have probably run close to about 30 laps on here since they were last out. And the amount of cars on here, this track has changed a lot. I mean, when they were last out here, you maybe had 2 widths off the bottom, and now the lane is basically 1 width off the wall, so definitely a lot to go out there and get used to.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot to be able to get used to, and that's what this warm-up session is for those drivers that automatically transferred in. They need a chance to go on out and feel what the track is going to be like. Right now, up at the top of the charts, it is Loomis and Shepard leading the way over Cody Shaw, Chris Davis, and John Wilson. Hargreaves currently sits in 7th, and it looks like his teammate Billy Northcutt is going to be in P8, so those are certainly some drivers to watch out for. Looks like Harden's going to bring it down pit lane here with about 1.5 minutes left to go in the session, and sometimes that's a good way to just sort of feel how the track is going to be on a fresh set of tires, fresh set of everything to be able to get that reset.
Yeah, you go out there for a couple laps, and this is a fantastic opportunity to maybe go get yourself some water, go use the restroom, anything else you need to do. Let the dog out, let the dog back in if he's barking. Just a fantastic break in the action for these guys. Go ahead and just get reacclimated to what the track is doing. But yeah, how about those lap times, man, out of Loomis and Shepard?
Yeah, pretty remarkable there. And let's not count out Cody Shaw or Chris Davis. I mean, they're only about 0.05 of a second behind them. Indeed, the whole field only separated by 0.3 here at this point. And granted, this is a 1/4 mile long circuit, but that's really pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing just to see how close this field gets each and every week. I mean, 0.3 of a second is almost nothing. That's maybe a half a car length from lap to lap. So it's going to be really crucial to start up front and to really capitalize on other people's mistakes and make none of your own.
Well, and there, speaking of not making a mistake, William Hargreaves putting down a very clear representation here in warm-up up to the top of the charts with a time of 15:2:01. So Hargreaves clearly not messing around.
No, he wants to go out here. He wants to put a statement to show I am the fastest. You really ought to not mess with me. And he would prefer that people didn't. He's going to be the championship leader if he continues to outscore Brandon Proudfoot as much this week. If he does that next week too, he could very well be the back-to-back season champion. The only person to do that is Brandon Proudfoot. Of course, his is back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Maybe another back or two.
Yeah, Proudfoot has won too many championships to count here at this point, but the checkered flag is in the air, and that can mean only one thing. We are ready to go racing here for the 40-lap feature event at Limaland. Lining up in pole position, it will be William Hargraves, followed by Billy Northcutt with J.R. Shepard and Chris Davis. Zachary Loomis and Grady Wade will be behind them, followed by Jeffrey Harden and Thomas Vickers. Butch Baker lines up in P9, and Cody Shaw rounds out your top 10.
Dylan Corey is going to start tonight's affair in 11th, followed by Bobby Hayes, who starts in 12th. Starting 13th is John Wilson. Starting his outside is Jason Dill. Kevin Nunn starts in 15th, and Joe Segala lines up shotgun on the field in 16th place.
All right, Austin. So 16 drivers here at Limaland, 40 laps. Caution laps do not count, and it's prediction time. Who do you have your eye on?
I have to go ahead. I'm going to pick Billy Northcutt. Even though William Hargraves needs to get a lot of points tonight, I'm going to go with Northcutt.
Well, I'm going to go with Hargraves here. Unsurprisingly, Hargraves has looked good all night long. I think he's certainly got the ability to try to pull away on this field, and he needs to try to win this race to maximize points over Brandon Proudfoot. As we watch the drivers, though, I can tell you that it looks like Hargraves is opting to start down on the low line unless he's drifting up right here to indicate to his teammate. No, he will be starting down low. So the 71 will be starting down on the low side as we complete the the first of our two caution laps here. The field forming up behind the iRacing pace truck. As there he goes, ready to get down into pit lane and control the field, goes to William Hargraves, and there goes the green. We are racing in Limaland. Great start, it has to be said, for Hargraves. Shepard doing what Shepard does best, going down on the low side. That looks like Billy Northcutt going up on the super high side, and look at that momentum carrying as we've got a car around in the back. Not sure if that's going to trigger a yellow. It looks like we're clearing green.
Yeah, still green and mean out here on starting lap number 2. It's still William Hargraves out front. Second is Billy Northcutt. J.R. Shepard continues to ride around in third place. He got really squirrely on that start, but he's done a fantastic job to recover from that. Now he's doing a great job of holding off Chris Davis on the high side.
Yes, he is. It looked like John Wilson had a little bit of a problem further back in the field, but everyone able to continue on nice and easy. Let's see here if Shepard changes up his strategy. He does. He moves up to the high line, trying to block the attack here of Chris Davis.
Yeah, J.R. Shepard's going to go up there. The best way to make sure someone can't pass you is to run the line that they're catching you with. Chris Davis shoves the car into turns 1 and 2, tries to push up into J.R. Shepard. J.R. wasn't having any of it. Chris Davis pushed J.R. up in the wall a little bit more, allows Chris to get by, but look at J.R. Shepard now looking down to the inside.
He's going to try to pull the same move that Davis did on him, but it's not going to play out, and that's Shepard making contact with the number 7. Almost a spin, a great catch from the Different Path Motorsports driver.
Yeah, JR had a huge save. That's basically front axle to rear axle, all that swinging weight. Almost spun out J.R. Shepard. Now he's going to make contact with, I believe that was the 6 car, Dylan Corey. Those two still able to keep it clean.
And up at the front of the field, Billy Northcutt has been able to catch up to his number 71 Dirt Panda teammate in the form of William Hargraves. So a close little battle starting to erupt here as, Dylan Corey almost losing it in the back of the field right there. He got very, very squirrely coming out of turn 2, but able to catch it, but that's going to allow for J.R. Shepard to clear on by him.
Yeah, I've been continuing to watch this battle here for the 5th position. J.R. Shepard continues to hold that, but boy, there's a whole nest of angry hornets behind him. You got Grady Wade, Dylan Corey, the 99 car, Cole Shaw, and then Thomas Vickers in the 2 car.
Yeah, it is a whole hornet's nest here behind as they run, trying to be able to see what they can do. The 2 couplets at the front of the field. Ooh, big contact into the wall. I think that was Vickers.
Yeah, Thomas Vickers, hard contact in the wall. Your leader is still William Hargraves. He's still got Billy Northcutt about 0.3 of a second behind him. Then the next couple, that, as you call it, DJ, you got Chris Davis, Zach Loomis. Those two still running 3rd and 4th, respectively. Then there's a pretty sizable gap to J.R. Shepard in 5th. And then there's 3 drivers fighting for that. Dylan Corey, Grady Wade getting into the wall.
Yeah, that's becoming a real problem here for these drivers, particularly on the exit of turn 4. You saw that big kathunk there for Grady Wade, and that's one of the problems of running the high line. Looks like a couple of drivers flirting down low, including John Wilson, as we've got a close battle for the lead here between teammates.
Yeah, Billy Northcutt starting to just barely, ever so slightly look down to the inside of his Dirt Panda teammate, William Hargraves. And DJ, it's kind of nice to race with your teammate for the lead. Oh, there's a spin. Dylan Corey goes around.
And that's going to bring out the yellow flag here on lap 13. A spin in the back of the field for the number 6 entry. Now, this is the number 11 of Grady Wade coming up behind him. Was this self-inflicted, or did he have a little bit of help? I think that car was starting to go around Austin, and the number 11 just got kind of collected in it.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a little bit of both. He definitely got that car over-rotated through turns 3 and 4, went up the track to save the car. He's basically a sitting duck at that point, and if you're Grady Wade, you still have your foot in. It's really hard to see anything out of these cars, especially over there. The A-pillar would have been blocking that for Grady Wade, so that's why you saw that contact made. And, of course, he doesn't know how much he slid through the corner. He expects for Dylan to get back on the throttle, and he made slight contact, and he just finished off the job.
Yeah, certainly did there, and not really a fault of his own necessarily as they ran, but trying to see what is going to be able to play itself out here as we will re-rack and restack this field. And I've got to think here, for the likes of Northcutt and Hargraves, this is probably not good news. They did not want to be put in this position where they can be caught, but it looks like we're going back to single file running here as they go, and indeed, the iRacing pace truck looks like it's getting ready to scamper down pit lane. It is. The news here, Hargraves going to be starting up on the high line, waiting for the leader to get onto the throttle, and there he goes. Good start there for the 71. It looks like his 0-0 teammate there of Northcutt tried to cover off Zachary Loomis, but that dog just wasn't going to hunt there, and it looks like Northcutt now is able to get that slot.
Yeah, Paul Loomis had to do a really good job at checking up to make sure he wasn't going to get into the back of the 0-0 car. Billy Northcutt down the back straightaway. He checked up, and now he's third in line. J.R. Shepard basically hung out to dry for the moment. Luckily for J.R., he's doing a really good job of making that bottom line work, but if he can do a good job and slide up in front of Chris Davis, hold on to that 4 spot. If he really wants to, he could slide in behind that 7 machine.
It looks like JR's making it work as we ride on board with Zachary Loomis breaking up the podium party here for the Dirt Panda teams up ahead of him. We also look out the back here of the number 37, and you can see that battle between Shepard and Davis as they run. They've been side by side for about the past 3 laps here.
Yeah, it looks like JR's a lot faster in turns 3 and 4, and in turns 1 and 2, Chris Davis is faster between the two of them. We'll have to continue to watch this battle. It really seems like the high side continues to get slicker and slicker, so that bottom or middle lane might come in. J.R. Shepard's been faster the last couple corners, but this is where Chris Davis gets all his speed, basically just throttles up at the center of the corner, uses the wall to help him turn.
Yeah, uses the wall to help him turn, and that's really going to help that car chuck its way through the corner right now. As here we watch Shepard working his way on through, still trying to get that move. The top 3 still running in single file order behind them. It's a little bit side by side. John Wilson on a pretty meteoric rise, as is Cody Wilson, up 6 and 4 places respectively, as Shepard looks like he's going to slot into line up on the high side behind Chris Davis.
Yeah, John Wilson continues to ascend up through the field, and I always said this about John Wilson before. If he didn't do a good job in qualifying the heats in the last chance qualifiers, he did a great job to make his way up through the field in the race, and if he qualified and did well in the heats, he dropped like a rock in the race, so definitely proving that right today.
And we've got another yellow flag out on the circuit right now. This looks like Butch Baker involved in it. Looks like a little bit of over-rotation there from the number 11, and he is just going to tag Butch Baker. That was Grady Wade, and a little bit of a domino effect there coming down the back straightaway. Oh, that is a big hit to the 97.
Yeah, Jason Dill, nowhere to go. Butch Baker got really loose off of 4, just barely got into the inside of Jeffrey Harden, ricocheted off Harden, and then, of course, nowhere for the 97 car, Butch Baker, to go after Grady made contact with Jeffrey.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate there, but that will mean that we are restarting this race at the halfway point here, Austin. So halfway done, it continues to be Hargrave leading from Northcutt, Davis in P3, then Loomis, then Shaw, it looks like, but we are already re-racked and restacked and ready to go back racing right now as the pace truck is going to come on down pit lane, giving control of the field back over to William Hargraves as they go. Getting on the loud pedal, and that was actually a better start there for Billy Northcutt. They're going to be perfectly parallel coming down into the first corner. Carrying the momentum, though, is the number 71. Is that going to play out? A little bit of a move there in the back for Zachary Loomis. He's going to cut off any advance there from Chris Davis, and now it's going to be one high and one low for Dirt Panda.
Yeah, you got William Hargraves on the high side, Billy Northcutt on the low side. Chris Davis actually barely got into the back of the 37 car, Zach Loomis. And whoa, look at that, almost a slide job coming off the corner for Billy Northcutt to go ahead and take the lead. We'll see what he can do this time by in 3 and 4. He's not going to make a huge gain, but all the time on the bottom can be gained in 1 and 2, it looks like, for right now.
Yeah, it certainly can. That was a very impressive run, and one that I don't think you and I really predicted. But look at that momentum shot out of a cannon. Was William Hargraves coming off a 2. He has got the afterburners on, and he is securely up into P1.
Yeah, DJ, he's got all that momentum. Motor still wind up on the high side.
Exactly, as now it's going to be Zachary Loomis trying to take a little bit of a poke here to the outside of Billy Northcutt. We ride on board the hood of the car here with Chris Davis. He's got the popcorn position for the rest of these battles. I've got to think if Northcutt wants to try to slide up in front. He's not quite going to get that cross.
Yeah, he's going to have a couple more opportunities to make sure he can get up in front of Zach Loomis. Oh, man, the top lane really doing a great job for Zach Loomis for right now. He's going to go ahead and power around the outside of Billy Northcutt. Now he's going to chase down Billy's Dirt Panda teammate, William Hargraves.
Yes, he is, and I think here for Billy Northcutt, he has got to try to slot up into that high lane ASAP, and that's exactly what he does there, sending Chris Davis down to the inside to maybe think about a little bit of a slide job. Davis in the number 7, checking up his momentum, inches in between the 2 drivers.
Yeah, J.R. Shepard tried to catch up to the rear end there of Billy Northcutt, forced Chris Davis to be basically hung out to dry. J.R. wasn't able to do that, so we'll have to settle for just riding in behind Davis. Davis making hard contact with the outside wall.
Very hard contact, and there it looks like there was a little bit of contact there for Loomis as well. Could that potentially open up a door here for Billy Northcutt? There's also something else that these drivers are going to have to factor into it, and that is a slow-moving Joe Segala up ahead of them, the number 81, looking like he may get lapped here with about 10 laps to go.
Yeah, look at John Wilson. He's made up a spot on J.R. Shepard for the 5th position, doing a great job on that lower line.
Yeah, he certainly has. Very, very impressive. Just driving that car through the slick. You can see it. I didn't think that was going to be possible at this point in the race, but no, clearly the number 75 proving me wrong.
Yeah, he's looking for the 4th position here on Chris Davis.
Yeah, he is. He is one of the few drivers able to make that middle groove work. I've got to give massive credit. Davis
Chris Davis hard into the wall.
And that is going to put the 75 at a nose ahead and up into 4th place.
Look at John Wilson go. He's doing a whale of a job tonight.
Yeah, he certainly is. I am knocked out by the Canadian driver right now. It looks like up ahead of him that Zachary Loomis is trying to take a leaf out of his book, running down on the low line as we're going to come to the line here with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, Zach's got his eye in his mirror right now, looking to make sure he can see where everyone else is going now. Chris Davis, J.R. Shepard, Jeffrey Harden, even Thomas Vickers are now running in the middle of the track. They see that's where all the speed is on John Wilson's part. He's doing a great job to see if he can catch up to the Dirt Panda teammate of our leader, Billy Northcutt, but I think he's going to run out of time.
Yeah, I think he is too. Let's call the gap about 5-6 car lengths here with 7 laps to go. He might be able to do it, but that's going to be a little bit dependent on a battle with the number 37 here of Zachary Loomis. As you can see,
the 7 car gets turned sideways.
And that's a yellow. That's a yellow flag here with 6 laps to go.
Here's the replay here. You're going to see that's Chris Davis in the 7, Thomas Vickers in the 2. This is coming out of turns 3 and 4. Excuse me, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Chris Davis, I think he just got a little bit sideways, tried to check the car up early, run the absolute bottom of the track. Vickers just wasn't expecting it. Barely tapped Chris Davis, turned him around.
Yeah, but look at all that damage to the front end of the number 2. That's going to be a disappointing end for his day. And in Austin, this is going to set up a very interesting restart. We actually didn't talk about this at the beginning of the broadcast, but if it's 10 laps to go or less, we have a single file restart around here.
That's right. Inside of 10 laps to go, basically just like the old Winston Cup format. Inside 10 laps to go, it's single file restarts. So that means it doesn't matter if you're in an odd or even numbered position. Even if you're the leader, you still get lane choice, but there's basically not a bad lane to choose from. Lights though are out atop the iRacing pace truck.
Yes, they are, and we will get restarted here with 5 laps to go. A 5-lap shootout to the end on a single-file restart, and very early onto the loud pedal goes William Hargraves. He's already got a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Loomis and Northcutt. Meanwhile, Northcutt's going to dive down to the low side.
A touch between J.R. Shepard and John Wilson.
Good catch there, Austin, as you are right. Contact there in the back, but they're both going to be able to continue on. It looks like Shepard getting the worst of it, though.
Yeah, J.R. Shepard, as soon as he realized that Wilson kind of over-rotated in turns 1 and 2, backed out of the throttle to make sure that John could gather it back up, J.R. Shepard stomped on the brakes repeatedly to make sure he didn't get into the back of the 75 one more time. J.R. Shepard going to fall at least 2 or 3 spots down the order. John Wilson, though, might lose out on this battle between the 99 car.
Yeah, that's Cody Shaw running the high lane there, but Wilson able to run low. Is he going to be able to clear him? No, he's not. And that is not the news there that the number 75 wanted to hear. 99, that white and green machine working its way, continuing to run that high line. Wilson was ahead at the stripe, but I don't know how much that's going to play out as we've only got 3 laps to go, and Wilson finally able to hold on to the position. I think that was the number 6 making contact with the wall there in the back.
Yeah, that time in turns 3 and 4, Shaw got into the wall big time, tried to bust down the fence. Fortunately, that took a lot of time out of that car for John Wilson.
Yeah, it certainly did there. A big, big hit as we now come to the line. 1 lap to go for William Hargraves, who leads over Zachary Loomis. And a little bit of contact there on the back of the field.
Jeffrey Harden almost going around on the front stretch. Sorry, DJ.
And you're all good. He was able to catch it and keep going, and that's going to keep everything nice
Shaw
and clean.
goes around.
Shaw, everybody losing it here on the final lap, but the only driver seemingly not to lose it is your victor, William Hargraves, able to take victory just as he needed to do. And folks, as we head into the championship finale next week, we've got a race on our hands as we take back a look at the replay here of exactly what happened to the 99 here, Austin.
Yeah, he's going to go into the corner. He's going to absolutely slap the rear end of the car up against the wall, get himself mega sideways. I think he broke the right front suspension. He's going to door slam J.R. Shepard, forces J.R. to have to get out of the throttle, loses him a ton of time. You're going to see Dylan Corey go for a slide job. J.R. Shepard tries to just throttle it up on the outside. They make contact, have an absolute drag race to the finish. I think there's a lot of displeased people after this. I saw a lot of contact after the checkered flag flew between pretty much everybody 5th on back.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and the stewards here are probably going to be having a look at everything as they go. As we take a look back here, let's run you through that final finishing order here from Limaland, as that was such a chaotic end of the race. We really didn't get to go through it. It was William Hargraves able to take victory over the newcomer there, Zachary Loomis. Billy Northcutt coming home in P3. John Wilson was 4th, followed by Dylan Corey. J.R. Shepard into 6th, with Butch Baker, Cody Shaw, Chris Davis, and Jeffrey Harden rounding out your top 10.
Bobby Hayes comes home in 11th, followed by Thomas Vickers in 12th. Grady Raid finishes in 13th, followed by Joe Segala in 14th. Jason Dill, Kevin Nunn round out your 16-car field.
Right, as we wait here for the interviews, and it does indeed look like they are here, so we are going to go ahead and talk with our victor, William Hargraves. And William, a flag-to-flag victory there for you for the most part, but Billy was certainly putting some pressure on you there early.
Yeah, he was for sure. He definitely wasn't going away there, and he almost had me on that second caution restart for sure. Even the first one, he probably could have threw a slider if he really, really wanted to.
Well, I've got to ask you that with Proudfoot not being able to make the feature here, this is going to be a huge swing in favor of you for points. How much was that playing on your mind here today in your strategy of being in the lead of this race?
Honestly, that really wasn't on my mind at all. It's kind of unfortunate for him. I don't even know exactly what happened or what took place there for him. I missed a race earlier in the season. I guess that'll kind of cancel us out. It sucks for him for sure. I mean, he didn't have to miss, and whatever happened. But it might make the points interesting, I guess. I don't even know what it'll do for him. I mean, obviously it hurts him, but I don't know if it'll give me enough to catch him or not.
Well, we will see. I never trust a commentator's math, so I'm not even going to try to do that math for you here at this point. But as we go into the final round at Knoxville, obviously a little bit bigger of a circuit than this, a little bit more high lane dominant. How do you like your chances there? How do you think the race is going to play out?
Oh, it should be a great race for sure. I like short track racing myself. Not that I don't like Knoxville. It's a good track. It'll race good. I just tend to do better on the short tracks than the longer ones for whatever reason. But we should all have a great time, I would think. And you might see some slider lines. I don't know. Might get go to the top and then come back to the bottom. We'll just have to see what happens. You never know with iRacing. and their updates.
You never know, indeed. But William, as for today, another victory here for you in the Dirt Street Stock Series. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys at the Virtual Grip Network for broadcasting these races for us. You guys do a great job every week, and we got to thank Luell and BRL for putting us on for everybody to race week in and week out. He does a real good job about keeping it friendly and respectful, and it's one of the best leagues that way by far. I got to thank Wild Bill's Race Designs for giving us these cool hot rods we drive weekly. I got to thank MelmElectricMotorsales.com. I got to thank Viv's Retail Liquor. I got to thank all my Dirt Panda Racing teammates. And I got to thank Carl Kilgore at KC Speedworks for giving us fast cars when we enter into the open setup classes.
Well, there you had it. A big round of congratulations to you, William. And by the way, we have gotten the official numbers. It is a 9-point difference between you and Brandon going into that final round.
Whew, that tightened it up a little bit for sure. We'll have to see what we can do with him next week. It'll be tough, that's for sure. He's hard to beat.
Will indeed. We look forward to that one. That was your victor, William Hargraves, here tonight. And Austin, I believe you've been able to catch up with our second place finisher.
Certainly have. I got Zach Loomis up here in the Virtual Grip Network booth. Zach, you did a well of a job to bring that machine home in second place today. Looked like you had about third or fourth, maybe fifth place speed, but as the night went on, you continued to get faster and faster. And boy, you can see it on the screen right now. There was a certain point where you were just able to pounce on the high side on the restart to get around the Dirt Panda teammate of our winner.
Yeah, it was a great race. I like this track as it wears. I'm a little better as this track wears out, and it was fantastic.
There at the end, that middle lane really came on strong. You saw John Wilson, pretty much the early adopter of it all. Saw a couple guys start moving down. Was that something you saw happening as the night went on?
From my point of view, no, but the cushion was thinning, and I just really had to find something else to do, and I tried it, and it worked.
Zach, this is the first season, at least I've seen you really come on strong in the BRL. Obviously, pretty much out of a championship this season, but we only have one race left. We're going to have an off week this weekend, so you get to carry a lot of momentum here into that nice vacation week. Then we come back for one final race weekend before the end of the season. Is this a lot of good momentum pushing you into next season?
Absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to coming back and competing.
Zach, before I let you go, who do you have to thank for your second place run?
Well, I'd like to thank CNC Race Designs for my paintwork and all my friends and family that support me.
Thank you so much for your time, Zach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I believe DJ Clark has now come back up with our third place finisher, Billy Northcutt.
Yes, indeed, I have. And Billy Northcutt, a great race there from you. Some great battles early on with your teammate. How was it behind the wheel?
Oh, yeah, man. That was a kind of a pleasant surprise race for me. I'm indifferent with Limaland. I'm never really great there, not terrible or anything. So I was just hoping for a nice top 5 finish after my connection issues last week kind of just put me in the back the whole feature. So I was kind of excited to just get up there and run, and then to be battling for the lead there for a little bit midway. I was pretty happy about that. That was pretty fun. I didn't expect when I went low. Honestly, I didn't expect to come out beside him at all. I figured I would just get freight trained up top, so I kind of bumped him even. I was like, dang, he's like right there. I was like, we're racing now. But I wasn't totally prepared to stay down there, so I started kind of making mistakes, and Zach got around me up top in the preferred line. I say preferred line, but it looked like John Wilson was just flying by everybody down on the bottom. So I think if you could drive it right, it was good down there. So but the top guys been all running the top, so that's where just kind of where I assumed it was. But congrats to Will on winning that. He stuck it out front and held his own there the whole entire time. And congrats to Zach on second place. He ran a good clean race. Me and him had a nice battle there a couple different times throughout the race where he was backing off for me if I touched the wall or cut him off, and vice versa. I mean, it was just a good old race.
Well, it certainly was. And as we turn our eyes to next week, I kind of have a twofold question here for you. We head to Knoxville, and first off, the obligatory, how do you feel about that track? But the second part of it is, with only 9 points separating your teammate, William Hargraves, from Brandon Proudfoot, is there going to be a little bit of conversation about the championship between you two, and is that going to play into your strategy at all?
Probably not. I would definitely guess not. Last season, Knoxville was one of the races that I was able to win, and it was a barn burner with Will. We battled back and forth, and he threw a big slider at the end and backed out of it, so we didn't wreck, and I ended up pulling that off. So I would expect nothing less than that. If I have a chance to beat him, if it knocks him out of the championship, I honestly don't really care. We're just going to have fun with it, and whoever wins if we're both up there. But I would expect Brandon to have something to say about it this time out there. He's had probably like the fastest car the last few weeks, and just lost by like a total of like 0.2 seconds in the last 2 weeks, and then this week had some issues and he had to start in the backs and stuff, and had some issues going on there. So he's going to be pretty hungry going into that final race to remind us who's the boss, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty excited for it. I don't really care how I do. I just hope it's fun, and hope we can put on a show for that season finale. I always get excited for events like a season finale or things like that. You know, you got to go big on those ones.
Yeah, you certainly do. But as for today, Billy, a very, very well-earned third place. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast. Thank Lowell for putting it on. Like I said, William and Zachary Loomis for racing clean in that one. That was really fun. I want to give a special shout out to John Wilson again, because he came home with the top 4 in that, and I'm really proud of him. I dang near wanted to blow a tire on the last lap so he could get him a podium there. It's awesome to see guys just keep grinding and have it pay off. That payoff is just as exciting to me as if I win a race, you know. So that's pretty sweet. I wish him all the best moving forward.
Well, I'd love to hear that among competitors. And Billy, congratulations again on a good run today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right, well, that was your third place finisher there, Billy Northcutt. And folks, that's about going to wrap things up for us here on the Virtual Grip Network. But on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, as well as my partner here in the booth, Austin Belke, and our director and producer behind the scenes, Mike Yao, it has been a pleasure to bring you the racing action here today. The next race for the BRL Dirt Street Stock Series, you heard us preview it, going to be Friday, September 9th from Knoxville Raceway live at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The next broadcast on the channel, though, will be tomorrow, August 27th, as the BRL Super Late Model Series heads to Langley, and that'll kick off at 9 p.m. Eastern. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, and until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.